10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, my beautiful souls, to Becoming with Erika, a space where we heal out loud, grow through what tried to break us, and become everything we are meant to be. And if this is your first time listening in, welcome. I'm so grateful you're here. Today, we're talking about something a lot of us people experience but don't always understand: spiritual warfare. I want to start by saying something that may help someone listening today. Sometimes the attack gets stronger because your relationship with God is getting deeper. Many of us assume that when life becomes harder after choosing God, we've done something wrong. But what if what you experience isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if God is actually moving in your life? I remember a season when I was desperately searching for God. I kept praying, God, reveal yourself to me. Show me you're real. Let me hear your voice. I was hungry for him, but life around me felt incredibly heavy. I remember standing in the shower before work crying, not quiet tears, the kind that comes from complete exhaustion. I felt overwhelmed, broken, empty. Later that day, one of my coworkers offered me a ride to work. I remember thinking, maybe today is finally turning around. But when we arrived, management started sending employees home. I was one of the people cut. My coworker wasn't. Suddenly, I had no ride home. My options were either walking through the neighborhood, which would take forever in a day, or walking several miles through the desert. Of course, that would be the quick route. And it was already getting dark. I'm talking pitch black. No streetlights, no people, just silence. I remember thinking, great, this is how I die. Maybe a coyote, maybe a javelina. At that point, I honestly wasn't sure which sounded worse. I reached a stoplight. There was a car sitting in the turning lane. So I stopped walking because left meant desert, right meant neighborhood. And I was going left. And so was the car. The car didn't move. Red, green again. Red, green again. Still didn't move. By the third light, something didn't feel right. Eventually the car turned. I started walking again. Then suddenly I saw brake lights. The car stopped, turned around, and started driving back towards me. My heart sunk. I thought, this is it. At that point, I was thinking, if a coyote or a javelina came over here, I think I'd be better off with that. The car pulled beside me. A young woman rolled down her window and asked, "There's nothing out here for miles. Are you really going to walk through the desert alone? There's a lot of animals out here." She was right. Then she asked, "Can I give you a ride?" I accepted, and we drove. She smiled and asked, "I'm actually on my way to a concert at my church. Would you like to come with me?" I froze because earlier that day I had been praying. God revealed himself to me, and there, in the middle of darkness, fear, and complete exhaustion, God answered. Not the way I expected, but exactly when I needed him. That night changed my life. I started going to church. Eventually, I gave my life to Christ, and then something else begun: the warfare. Because here's what I've learned. When we begin leaving behind the old version of yourself, there will be resistance. Your flesh pushes back. Old habits push back. Old wounds push back. Sometimes even relationships begin to change. Why? Because transformation creates tension. there becomes a battle between who you were and who God is calling you to become. Your spirit begins to crave what is holy. The flesh still craves what's familiar. Your spirit desires surrender. The flesh wants control. And sometimes the battle feels exhausting. The Bible reminds me in Philippians 6:12. For the struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the ruler, against the authority, against the power of this dark world, and against the spiritual force of evil in the heavenly realms. That not every difficult season is spiritual warfare. Sometimes we experience the natural consequences of living in a broken world. Sometimes we struggle because of our own choices, and sometimes there is truly a spiritual opposition. The important thing is remembering that no matter the source of the struggle, God is with us through it. So hear me. Spiritual warfare is not always proof that something is wrong. Sometimes it's confirmation that something holy is happening. The enemy doesn't panic over a life that isn't moving towards God. Resistance often increases when we're stepping into the purpose God has for us. So if you feel challenged, if old patterns are pulling at you, your mind feels like a battlefield, ask yourself, what if God is growing me through this? Because the closer you walk with him, the more he lovingly exposes what can't come with you. Old mindsets, old habits, old fears, sometimes even certain relationships. Not to punish you, but to free you. And yes, freedom can hurt before it heals. So if you're walking through spiritual warfare today, remember this. The battle may be loud, but God is louder. The attack may be real, but his protection is stronger. The old version of you may be fighting to survive, but God is inviting you into new life. You don't have to fight for victory because through Christ, you're fighting from victory. Thank you for sitting with me today. And remember, sometimes the warfare isn't proof that God is absent. Sometimes it is proof that God's drawing you closer. Until next time, keep becoming. Thank you. God bless.